The shooting had been extraordinary for a wild place far on in the season, for there are few partridges, and the woodcock are notoriously late. I had done respectably in my stalking, more than respectably on the river, and creditably on the moors. Moreover, there were pleasant people in the house, and there were the Glenroydens. I had had a hard year's work, sustained to the last moment of term, and a fortnight in Norway had been disastrous. It was therefore with real comfort that I had settled myself down for another 10 days in Glenacle, when all my plans were shattered by Sybil's letter. Sybil is my cousin, and my very good friend, and in old days when I was briefless, I had fallen in love with her many times. But she very sensibly chose otherwise, and married a man, Ladlaw, Robert John Ladlaw, who had been at school with me. He was a cheery, good-humoured fellow, a great sportsman, a justice of the peace, and deputy lieutenant for his county, and something of an antiquary in a mild way. He had a box in Leicestershire, to which he went in the hunting season. But from February till October he lived in his moorland home. The place was called the House of Moor, and I had shot there once or twice in recent years. I remembered its loneliness and its comfort, the charming diffident Sybil, and Ladlaw's genial welcome. And my recollections set me puzzling again over the letter that morning had broken into my comfort. "You promised us a visit this autumn," Sybil had written, "and I wish you would come as soon as you can." So far common politeness. But she had gone on to reveal the fact that Ladlaw was ill. She did not know how exactly, but she thought something about his heart. Then she had signed herself my affectionate cousin, and then had come a short, violent postscript, in which, as it were, the fences of convention had been laid low. "For heaven's sake, come and see us," she scrawled below. "Bob is terribly ill, and I am crazy. Come at once." And then she finished with an afterthought. "Don't bother about bringing doctors. It is not their business." She had assumed that I would come, and dutifully I set out. I could not regret my decision, but I took leave to upbraid my luck. The thought of Glenacle with the woodcock beginning to arrive, and the Glenroydens imploring me to stay, saddened my journey in the morning. And the murky, coaly Midland country of the afternoon completed my depression. The drive through the woodlands of Moor failed to raise my spirits. I was anxious about Sybil and Ladlaw, and the accursed country had always given me a certain eeriness on my first approaching it. You may call it silly, but I have no nerves, and am little susceptible to vague sentiment. It was sheer physical dislike of the rich, deep soil, the woody and antique smells, the melancholy roads and trees, and the flavour of old mystery. I am aggressively healthy and wholly Philistine. I love clear outlines and strong colours, and Moor with its half-tints and hazy distances depressed me miserably. Even when the road crept uphill and the trees ended, I found nothing to hearten me in the moorland which succeeded. It was genuine moorland, close on 800 feet above the sea, and through it ran this old grass-grown coach road. Low hills rose to the left, and to the right, after some miles of peat, flared the chimneys of pits and oil-works. Straight in front, the moor ran out into the horizon, and there in the centre was the last dying spark of the sun. The place was as still as the grave, save for the crunch of our wheels on the grassy road, but the flaring lights to the north seemed to endow it with life. I have rarely felt so keenly the feeling of movement in the inanimate world. It was an unquiet place, and I shivered nervously. Little gleams of loch came from the hollows. The burns were brown with peat, and every now and then there rose in the moors jags of sickening red stone. I remember that Ladlaw had talked about the place as the old Manon, the holy land of the ancient races. I had paid little attention at the time, but now it struck me that the old peoples had been wise in their choice. There was something uncanny in this soil and air, framed in